Welcome to Skridley's Sova guide for beginners. This is going to be a quick rundown on everything you need to know about Sova. I'm going to give you some quick, easy arrows you can even do on Ascent to get started. So we're going to start off by just showing you all the abilities. So we're going to start off with the Owl Drone. Now the Owl Drone, you equip it just like that once you press your button, and then you're able to walk around with your arm out. As soon as you hit your trigger button, it's going to come out. You can fly it around until the timer is up. Or somebody shoots it. You can also press the trigger again to shoot somebody with a dart that's going to make them highlight up through the wall 3 times every single time, so that you're going to have that extra information if you do tag somebody. Now that is the Owl Drone. Now the Recon Bolt is is the next ability he has, and it's very important to Sova. It is on a 30-second recharge, so you can get multiple of these per round, and that is really awesome. And they have just a couple things on the screen here that you need to know whenever you are using this. So first of all, it's a bow and arrow. It shoots just like that, and you have the charge bar, which can go up to like essentially a 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, of course, because it's split into thirds. So that's how you can think about your charge, which is like your power, or basically how far it's going to go. Other than that, you have the bounces, which you can toggle just like this by using the left trigger in my case, or whatever your ADS type of button is, it should be, or whatever you've mapped it to. But you can either have 0 bounce, where it'll just simply stick to the wall just like that. First thing it hits, it will stick to. You do a 1 bounce, which means it will bounce off 1 time, or you can do up to a 2 bounce, which means it will bounce 1, 2 times. Pretty simple, pretty basic. And it also, if you've noticed, it'll do 2 scans, and it'll highlight anybody and basically give you wall hacks on anybody that's in its line of sight during those 2 pulses. But keep in mind, they can't avoid it. So if it's right here, if they hide from it just like this, it's not going to scan them because it's not in line of sight of them. So keep that in mind when you are using the Recon Bolt. For Sova's third ability, it's just the Shock Bolt, or Shock Charge, whatever it's called. It's the same exact thing as the Recon Bolt in terms of how it works with the charge and the bounces. It's also the same bow and arrow. The only difference is this is a sphere that does like shock damage or like splash damage type of deal. So last I knew, I haven't been playing Valorant as often lately, but so I apologize if this is wrong, but I'm sure it's still very close to accurate, if not the same. I don't know why they would have changed it. But basically the middle of this is going to do maximum damage of, I believe, around 75 or 90, something like that. I apologize for not having the exact number, but that's just the type of video this is. But the outside of it is usually going to do less, so you might only do like 25 damage or somebody to somebody with that. So ideally you're hitting somebody with this right in the middle, but in my opinion, this piece of utility is more useful if someone's just really trapped in a corner and you just want to, get a kill on them without peeking, or maybe they're far away, because you can shoot this thing quite a long ways and even bounce it 1 or 2 times if you need to. So it's really good for getting people out of those weird spots that they're just hiding in if you can't actually push over to them. But that's what it does. Then for the ultimate, you can pop it. You get 3 arrows that you can shoot through walls, literally across nearly the entire map. And it also marks them whenever you hit people with this, which there's nobody in my game right now, but I'll add some footage of it marking people so you can see what that looks like. And if I open up my minimap while I have this up, you can actually see how far it goes. So it doesn't go the full length of the map by any means, but it does go a long ways, and it will shoot through any single wall and area in the game. Now I'll give you a few practical ways to use each of these utilities on Ascent, for instance. So the Owl Drone's really simple. You could even use it from out here. Let's say that the enemy team's getting really aggressive. You can just use it to simply clear the angles and get your team in. You can do this literally at any point in the map, and you can even mark enemies, if somebody's in there for your teammates, as well as tag them with the drone. So that's pretty much the best way to use the drone. It's very simple. When it comes to the Recon Bolt, you're going to want to ideally not shoot it somewhere where you're going to get killed. So you don't want to like stand right here and shoot it like this against that wall. That can work, and I mean, you could definitely like jiggle it a couple times and then throw one out, or even do a little bounce like that. It can be a good way, but this isn't ideal, because if you are trying to shoot it like this and then somebody swings, you're just going to die for free. It's really not the best way to do it. So ideally the best way is to have some sort of way to shoot it into the site or the area you want to scan without exposing your body. So you can do this in a few different ways, one of which might just be bouncing it. So without even peeking any of this angle, you don't even need an exact lineup for this. You can just shoot it at the wall like that, and look, it's going to land right here. You're going to scan this area, And people out here can hide from it, so you got to keep in mind things like that. But it will scan this entire little area here, and anybody that's just standing right here in the open. If they are in much lower ranks, they might just continue standing there. They also might shoot the arrow, because people can, on the other team, they can actually shoot this arrow. So if they shoot it, it's going to break. But at least you'll get that information, because it's going to, of course, make them shoot, which then you're going to hear and know where they are. So like I just showed you, bouncing is a really good way to get some information around corners without exposing yourself. You can even do a 2 bounce, which in this case doesn't really help us out anymore, but you can get creative with the 2 bounces, but that can get more complicated. Now, since we are on Ascent, I'll show you 2 easy arrows for B site that you don't really need lineups for at all. First one is going to be this tree out here. I'm going to actually try to run through here and show you real quick. So this one is going to land right up here on this tree. It's going to scan most of site. I mean, there's definitely places they can hide from it at. They could definitely hide back here, probably behind these boxes here even, maybe. And definitely if they're playing up here, they could hide behind this wall. Now, that's a decent one. It's really easy, but it's especially good if someone's playing this area over here on this staircase, because a lot of times people will play right here and they will, hold this sort of angle. So it's really good for that, because especially on console, people aren't going to be turning up to shoot that very quickly. So that's one of my favorite arrows on B Ascent. Now the next easy to remember recon bolt is going to be right over here, and you want to shoot at this tree right here, but ideally you want it on this sort of left half from our perspective over here. And this is going to ensure that it scans this entire let me zoom in here. It's going to scan this entire sort of alley here, which is 99% of the time where people play, it seems like. So what you want to do is shoot it on this side of the tree, just like that. And if I can run it over here in time, I will show you the last scan. So it basically lands like right here, and it's going to scan this entire area here, as well as most of the site. So you can use this basic principle of trying to scan and use your dart to get information without exposing yourself on any map, and the logic is always the same. Just look around and see where you can shoot it to get information on an area that you don't have to expose your body too much to. So even standing right here without peeking this angle, I can shoot it right up onto anywhere on that building really, and it's going to scan a lot of this area, including down in here. So if anyone is tucked down in here, as long as I don't put it way too high, it's literally anywhere here in line of sight of them, it's going to even scan people here playing the boat area. So those are just a few lineups on B Ascent that'll hopefully give you an idea of how to utilize the recon bolt. Now when it comes to the shock darts, like I said earlier, they work exactly the same way as recon bolt, but of course they don't scan, they're for damage, so you do got to use them a little differently. So for instance, I like to just utilize them in conjunction with my information, whether that's information that I've just saw somebody go into a corner, or I know somebody's there for whatever reason, or you can use them in conjunction with Sova's abilities, which is very, very good. So you could owl drone, for instance, and let's say you owl drone and, oh, there's an omen sitting right here, or, whatever, a phoenix. So you can pull this out. You don't need any certain lineup, honestly. I mean, this is going to be very situational depending on what angles you're playing, what map you're on. So this is going to come with a little bit of experience to actually hit these arrows. I don't even know if I'm going to hit this one, but let's assume there's a guy in that opposite corner. So you probably want to aim like what, right about here? Okay, no, that didn't hit. So see, it takes a little bit of practice. So I probably need to come over this way a lot more, and I forgot to bounce it. So make sure you remember to bounce it. So hit it like that. Okay, see, we're getting better. We're already learning a little bit. So we just need it over left more, and boom, that would have hit him directly right here. All I had to do was just, figure out exactly what the angle was, just like that. Doesn't need to be any specific lineup, and just like that, in just a matter of seconds, I've learned now about where on that wall to hit to bounce it with a 1 bounce right over to that corner. So that's how I like to do it, just sort of freestyle. I don't like to memorize any crazy lineups, or not too many of them. Once in a while I'll try to memorize one if it's really useful, because they are very, very good, don't get me wrong. And if you are trying to really progress with Sova, you eventually do want to learn those, but for most people these are going to be very, very useful, helpful, and help you win games. And when it comes to the last ability he has, the ultimate ability, it's very, very good for getting picks early round, or getting people off of the bomb. Now, a couple tips to make sure you utilize this to its maximum potential, because I know whenever I very, very first started playing Sova, it felt like I could never actually get a kill with it. It just felt like they were always avoiding it. As soon as I pulled it out, they're just running away. I can't hit them. I can't find them. So, you know, you could use your recon bolt and get that scan on them, but it's most likely only going to scan them like one time. And then by the time you pull your ultimate out, like they could be anywhere by then, right? A great way you can use the ultimate ability is by opening up your map and then just pinging somewhere on the map where you know an enemy is or believe they are. So if someone's playing this corner right here, being a little rat, you can mark it, and then you're going to be able to actually see where you're shooting at. And this will help you line stuff up a lot, especially if there is elevation changes can be tricky. So if you're trying to shoot up into a tree, of course, it's going to be up a little bit, so you don't want to be shooting down here. You want to be shooting up here. And by pinging that, you're going to be able to actually hit more accurate Sova ultimates just by pinging, which you can do at any point, at any time. And it's really useful. You can also ping whenever people plant bomb on default areas of sight. So let's just say I'm over here on the offensive side, or excuse me, the defensive side, and I'm rotating over from like mid. And let's say I get to, you know, right about here and I hear them start to plant. What I'll do is quickly open up my map, ping it, pull this back, and you can actually shoot them right off of the bomb. And you can usually get a free pick like that and sometimes even deny a plant. You want to make sure that you are aware that people will push you whenever you are in this ultimate though, because you are pretty vulnerable because it's very slow and you can cancel it, but it takes a minute. So people will just like to run at you when you are in your Sova ultimate. Now, one of the more reliable ways to use the ultimate ability is going to be by utilizing the owl drone with it. So for this, you might want to do this, owl drone out, and let's say somebody's pushing in through garage, boom, you can tag them. They're going to pulse 3 times, so you immediately want to pull this out, and whenever they do pulse, you want to hit them with that first shot, and then they're going to get another pulse, at least from the ultimate, even if the owl drone 1 expires. And that's an easy way to get a guaranteed 3 pulse on them, so that you can actually make sure you hit one of your ultimate ability shots so that you can get that second one on them and get the kill. That's gonna be it for this Sova guide. Hopefully some of these tips and tricks helped you out. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.